Picture this: world where Norse longships dot coastlines of North America year 1000. Viking settlers trade with indigenous nations, build towns, forge a transatlantic society. This isn't fantasy, it happened. 5 centuries before Columbus, the Vikings land in North America. What if they hadn't? What if Leif Erikson's Vinland became a permanent foothold, rewriting the future of 2 continents? Let's untangle this alternate timeline. In real year 1000 AD, Viking explorers established a short-lived settlement in Newfoundland, Canada, a place they called Vinland. But clashes with indigenous groups, harsh winters, and dwindling support from Scandinavia forced them to abandon it. Now let's tweak one detail. Imagine the Vikings negotiate peace with local Beothuk or Mi'kmaq peoples. Instead of fighting, their settlements survive. More Norse arrive, bringing iron tools, livestock, and their culture. This fusion of Viking and indigenous societies creates a hybrid frontier, a Norse-America. If Vikings thrived in North America, the Atlantic Ocean becomes a highway, not a barrier, by 1100s. Norse settlers export timber, furs, perhaps even maize back to Europe, accelerating medieval economies. Meanwhile, indigenous Americans gain early access to ironworking, horses, shipbuilding techniques. This exchange could spark technological leaps. Imagine the Great Plains tribes adopting horses 400 years earlier, or coastal nations building hybrid ships to explore Europe. Christianity and Norse myths might blend with indigenous spiritual practices, creating entirely new belief systems. Crucially, diseases like smallpox arrive gradually through trade, giving populations time to adapt. By 1492, when Columbus sails, the Americas are neither undiscovered nor defenseless. They're part of a complex, interconnected world. Here's where history veers wildly. When later European powers like Spain or England arrive, they don't encounter isolated tribes. They face well-connected Norse indigenous alliances. The Norse-Americans, with mixed heritage and fortified settlements, could resist invasion or negotiate as equals. The Spanish conquistadors, for example, relied on exploiting political divisions in Mesoamerica. But in this timeline, a network of Norse-aligned tribes might unite against them, using iron weapons and European-style fortifications. Colonization becomes a messy, contested struggle, not a one-sided conquest. Meanwhile, Scandinavia rises as a global power, controlling trade routes between the Americas and Europe. The Protestant Reformation might even spread faster through Norse trading posts, challenging the Catholic Church's grip on the New World. Fast forward to today. A permanent Viking legacy in America means no single European empire dominates the hemisphere. The United States and Canada might never exist. Instead, independent Norse indigenous nations could share the continent, speaking hybrid languages and practicing blended traditions. The transatlantic slave trade might never escalate, as North America's focus on timber and fur reduces demand for plantation labor. Without the Columbian Exchange devastating indigenous populations, their nations remain global players, influencing technology and diplomacy. Europe, meanwhile, is shaped by constant competition with a strong, independent Americas. Could this world avoid the world wars? Would democracy emerge differently? One thing's certain, the West as we know it would be unrecognizable. The Vikings' failure to settle Vinland wasn't inevitable. It hinged on fragile relationships, resources, luck. Change just a few choices and the entire trajectory of the Americas, their cultures, borders, and power structures, shifts. So next time you hear about Leif Erikson, remember, his abandoned huts in Newfoundland weren't just a footnote, they were a road not taken, one that could have made our world the alternate timeline.
This is Bytes of Goats, where we don't just talk about history, we learn from it. See you in the next one.